Welcome to the second part of the CAD 2 subject where you will learn 3dsMax. For this lesson, the topic learning outcomes are number 1, to familiarize 3dsMax's user interface layout and components. Number 2, to navigate workspace customization and object creation. Number 3, to understand workflow optimization and efficiency. So start by opening the software from your desktop icon. So once you're into the software, you will notice its similarities with AutoCAD. So this is the user interface of 3ds Max. It is very similar to AutoCAD since they are from the same developer, Autodesk, with minor differences in tabs and icons. So the top part of the user interface, or UI for short, is the ribbon, which is comprised of the menu bar at the top and then the main toolbars just below it. So the main toolbar is where you can select the most often used functions such as undo and redo, as well as the transformation tools such as the move, rotate, and scale, and also the toggles such as the snap and then the angle snap. So at the center of the UI is the working area. So much like AutoCAD, the working area contains the viewports. So this viewport can be adjusted based on the user preference. So to modify the number of viewports, left-click the plus icon button at the leftmost part of the viewport that you are in and select Configure Viewports. Select the Layout tab and choose the number based on the preference. So the default for beginners is 4 equal viewports utilizing the top, the front, which is usually the front, the left, and then the perspective views. So you can modify that once you are in the viewports. Later on, at a later date, you can modify that into a camera view. So just apply and then okay. So for example here, this is orthographic. So we will modify that. You just select on the icon or the word orthographic, then you change it to front. And then here, when you have a camera, we will select the camera here to view this viewport into the camera view. So at the right side of the screen is your command panel. This is where you can access most of the software's functionality. In fact, most of the commands in the ribbon are also found here in the command panel for easy access. So there are 6 command panels: the create, the modify, the hierarchy, motion, display, and utilities. So each one has its own set of important features. So for now, we will just focus on the 2 commands, the create and then the modify. So as the name implies, the create panel is used to create objects from geometry to shapes, lights, so on and so forth. So the modify panel is used to change the parameters and modify certain aspects of the object selected. So let's start with the create panel. By default, geometry is selected. So under geometry, you have this drop-down menu where you can select geometries that you can create. So these options under the drop-down menu will change once you select other tabs under the create command. So for example, if you select the shapes icon, the drop-down menu will change. It goes the same with the lights, the cameras, and the others. We will mostly be using geometry and shapes, also lights and cameras for this course. So at the left part of the screen, is your Scene Explorer. Once you have objects inside the working area, it will be easy to select and modify the visibility via the Scene Explorer. At the bottom part of the screen under the work area is the animation slider. We will not be discussing animation under 3ds Max since we're going to use another software. So for now, we will focus on the rendering side of 3ds Max, but maybe in the future you can explore the animation aspect of the software. The bottom left part of the screen is where you can find the prompt for scripting or the Max script. This is mostly used for automated functions. This is also not part of the scope of the course. Just below the animation slider is where you can find the transformation type-ins. You can use this to enter X, Y, and Z values to your object to position, rotate, or scale them. Say, for example, you can, we created a box under the create geometry standard primitives tools. Then we selected the box and then we created the object. So we go to the move icon here, and to modify the position, you can manually input the value or you can select the arrow icons to modify the position of your object. Or you can also select the rotate to modify the rotation. Also with the scale. So lastly, at the bottom right portion of the screen are the icons for the viewport navigation. These are used to properly view the scene from zooming, panning, and orbiting around the 3D space. So this is your 3ds Max user interface. So while the UI may be intimidating at first, just remember that with practice, many things become easier and manageable. So next lesson, we will use the AutoCAD 3D model that you have created and import it into 3ds Max.